Salakia. Uh, Still on the job, so a lot of distractions. But as I was saying, could Alazar, you know, um, bounce back, make a full recovery, and I mean, ultimately, these aren't things that we ponder on because ultimately, it's up to Yahweh Shema Shai. Ultimately, all of our fate has been sealed, and we're just hoping to make it ourselves. So, we don't ponder on these things. All right, but just judging via the spirit, you know, because a lot of guys are low level, and I'm not even going to get into all that, but a lot of guys are not spiritually discerned, and that's why it just makes sense that these things are given to the pure, or are all things pure. These things are just given to the hopefully elect to see. All right. But as it looks, just judging according to the spirit, more than likely not. All right. But nevertheless, again, man, we can't falter. All right. No matter what we go through, the scriptures tell us not to be weary in well doing. All right. We'll go to this Colossians 3. Colossians 3 and 20. Colossians 3, let's start at 22. Servants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasers. And we see a lot of that in Israel. All right. A lot of these guys in these congregations, these men and women in these congregations, they worship these so-called leaders as Yahweh Shai, just a bunch of yes men, and it gets to these guys' heads, these guys get puffed up, they get proud, like I said, the Lord has a way of humbling us all. All right, one way or the other, you're going to find out. We're going to find out, It says, but in singleness of heart, fearing Yahweh Bashem Shai. So that singleness of heart, right? Because again, a lot of guys forget. They've forgotten their first love. They forget. They lose focus. All right, they forget the simplicity in Yahweh Shai. All right. We ought to just learn. That way, we ought to teach. And that's why, again, you can't abandon the flock. You can't take your hand off the plow. Reading on verse 24, verse 23. And whatsoever you do, do it heartily, as to the Lord and not unto men. So with our whole hearts, all right, no matter what we face, no matter what we deal with, all right, because we're all going through something, all right. And we're in a time where, Yahweh Shema Shai, because these guys, they've despised his image, because again, these men for a long time, Alazar for a long time has talked shit against his leaders, all right. And the Lord's allowed it to slide for a long time. It's been long suffering, and I mentioned this last night, how it's cold. The Lord allowed these guys to get puffed up, allowing them to get their street cred, their little 15 minutes of fame. These guys are going on these podcasts, getting recognition, getting notarized, going on these podcasts, right? And of course with that is going to come more money. The Lord is setting these guys up for the fall. All right. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of Yahweh Shema Shai. That's why we just got to keep it. I always say this, I just keep it Yahweh Shai. All right. We know how to be abound. We know how to be abased. But in all things, we keep it Yahweh Shai. All right. And these guys, they lose sight of that singleness of heart. Right. A lot of these guys, they're not sincere. Alazar, he's not sincere. um, Verse 24, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Hamashiach. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he have done, and there is no respect of persons. And it's just crazy, Jacob's full of shit, and I'm talking about all around the board in Israel, because the new nonsense right now is coming together for a fast on the behalf of this guy's wicked deeds, you know. Um, it's just crazy. All right, Jake is a bunch of hypocrites, you know. But like Zaquanium have been saying, let these accusations have been from someone in Great Millstone. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, boy. These guys are showing respect of persons. All right. Everyone's got to pay, Everyone's got to, confess their faults, right? The difference is the elect, their sins are going to be blotted out. All right. Yahweh Shai is not going to cover these other guys, man. He's not going to cover 2/3 because there's a lot of 2/3 in Israel. Believe that or not. And it's time for the crimes of these individuals is catching up to him. Like I said, the Lord's been sitting back. He's been long suffering. All right. The Lord's just been letting shit slide. You see? And now the Lord is through the Spirit is making moves. And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get more intense. More heat is coming upon Israel, in Israel. All right. Again, it's no coincidence. Passover is right around the corner. All right. I know I'm scared as hell, and I'm sure I can speak for others. I'm scared as hell. I'm nervous as hell, We'll go to this. I brought this out yesterday. Well, matter of fact, before I go to that, I'm going to go to this in Proverbs. Proverbs 27 and 23. Because I was mentioning last night, about being he-goats in Jeremiah. It talks about being he-goats. And the fact that, basically, you're stepping down, it's just not a good look. That's not a good example for the flock. All right. Because, Jake is hungry. Jake wants to be fed. So you can never abandon the flock. Proverbs 27:23. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. So you see, you can't just abandon the sheep. You can't just abandon the flock. First Peter 5. And start at 1. To the point, verse 5. Slakia. 1 Peter 5 and 2. Feed the flock of Yahweh Bashim Shah, which is among you. Take the oversight thereof not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. So you see, And these guys, they have made merchandise of the Lord's people, and you got to pay for that. That's something that the Lord does not take lightly. Making merchandise off the Lord's people is bad enough, you know. Jake is catching hell, you know. And you got Jake coming in this thing, exploiting the Lord's people. The Lord doesn't take lightly to that. All right, that's a high offense. All right, you know, you're almost furthering the affliction of Jake, you know, bounding them to the law, right? You're almost furthering Jake's affliction. All right. You know, a lot of these so-called leaders, man, have a lot to pay. They have a lot of blood on their hands. And it just makes sense more and more, you know, why judgment is going to start in-house. The Lord's going to get rid of these wicked niggas. All right. 1 Peter 5 and verse 3. Neither as being lords over the Most High's heritage, but being in samples to the flock. And again, you stepping down because your ego's hurt. It's not a good look. It's not a good example for the flock. All right. There is no taking breaks off, taking vacations. There is no, you know, I need time to soul search. There is none of that. Like I said earlier, the whole point of this thing is, you know, this is our therapy. All right. The whole point of this thing is we're finding ourselves. What do you need to step back for to do some soul searching? This is the soul searching. You know, we are finding ourselves. You know, it's not a good look, you know, but of course you're going to have, you know, the men pleasers, the yes men and women. All right. And, you know, because that's what we see right now. Everyone's coming to the defense of Alazar's wickedness. All right. But the Lord has something else to say otherwise. The Lord feels otherwise. All right. Lord, one of this was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. Shalom to you. Hopefully,